Hello everyone, welcome everyone to this session on natural language processing. So in the today's session, we have around 20 plus participants confirmed for this session. So this session talk about the natural language processing. So in this session, we are looking at what are the different tools and technologies available for you to work with different language-based capabilities. Our company is Blue Chip Technology Asia and Blue Chip Training. So we provide training, consulting, and development across the region in APAC and in the broader region. So the today's session focused on the language understanding and language processing. Is a quite a broad area. There are a lot of areas that we can work on this natural language processing. Specifically, if you look at the local language, also there are a lot of research going on to build the language model for Sinhala language, specifically how you can understand the language and build a language understanding model. But if you look at the most established language in the international markets like English, Spanish, German, French, all these languages, there are a standard set of models are created for understanding the languages. So there our work become more easier by using these standard frameworks, and we can do a lot of things in terms of language understanding, and we can create a lot of use cases and projects based on these frameworks. So there are one core framework, and then we can use other set of frameworks to support this type of development. If you are coming from the data science background, it will be really helpful. Also, if you are new to this background, also we can use these frameworks to understand and provide this. So there are a lot of capabilities on language understanding, language detection, voice recognition, text to speech, speech to text. So there are a lot of areas in that. Even you can see really good examples from tech giants like Google, Microsoft, Amazon. They have Alexa, Google Echo, like a lot of devices for voice understanding. So it's a really huge area. The text is one area, the voice is another area. So here we focus on the text-based analytics. What is we are going to work on the text-based. There are a lot of the realistic analytics that we can do in this. Okay, so NLP. What is NLP? Is a natural language processing. It's a branch of AI. It's widely used in a lot of understanding areas. I think you may know about chatbots. So in the chatbots also, we can use NLP to provide intelligent response back to the user. So there are a lot of areas of use cases and applications that we can do in NLP. So today, a lot of applications build and use the capabilities of NLP when you are building these applications. So we can understand the text, and then we can provide intelligent analytics. So there are a lot of things inside the text. That's where the singular language or local language models also supporting. Still, some are in the research level where we need to find a 100% optimized way to understand the language and provide the meaningful text and provide analytics based on that. But if you look at standard languages in the world, already there are a lot of capabilities in the frameworks that we can use. But if you look at total number of languages in the world, it's quite massive, especially like countries like India, you know, there are 100 plus languages. So understanding each of these languages is quite challenging. That's if you look at in that context, there are like 4 or 5 languages. So that's already there are some the models and setup is there. But if you look at still the all of the languages in the world, there are no models such as based on the use cases and complexity. There are a lot of things that we can build on top of that. So those are happening in like organizations for different researchers, and also in the academic side in universities, like even the research projects like that. So there are a lot of things are happening in this context. So in this session, we are going to focus what are the tools and technologies that we need to use for this, and then what kind of use cases that we can have when you are building a voice audio enable or the voice or the text enable kind of application. So here in this, we are focusing on the text, but we can even integrate voice as well. So there are a lot of capabilities that we can do in this space. So we look at some of the use cases. So the speech recognition also comes a little bit higher space from the text understanding, where speech can understand into text, and then text can be analytics further into that. So there are a lot of frameworks that build on top of this that we can leverage and that we can use of this. So there are a lot of Python based frameworks are there that we are going to look at some of the use cases and application side, how you can build. So we can have the chatbot is using this kind of conversation that we can create a different conversation, human-like conversation. That's one of the main use case. And also we can understand the text and then we can provide feedbacks based on the text and indications. And also it's only not the what you are typing like a chatbot or like that. Sometimes let's say you have a document in the internet, you have a PDF document with thousands of pages, then you need to analyze that. So that can also use for the NLP, language understanding, because you human cannot read 1,000-page book within a couple of minutes. It takes weeks to read that, but we can create a model that understand that, and we can understand based on that. So there are a lot of use cases in that in terms of text, like lawyers, they need to read a lot of use cases like document cases, things like that. A lot of text they need to read, though that can be the shortened. There are some projects in that context that created for lawyers, law field, where the text can be used, right? So this use case is speech recognition. So understand the language and then using the natural language processing to based on that. So again, the language, the language we are using is really key because natural language processing is all about a specific language. So the language is really important. So the English also, there are specific versions, English US, English UK, and even there's, if you drill down, there are more other English versions also that we need to be familiar with. And then there are the standard language, Spanish, German language, French, Japanese, Chinese. Likewise, in Chinese version, there are a lot of other languages, traditional Chinese, Cantonese, like that. There are different versions of the Chinese language. So likewise, these things are really important to understand first before actually building anything, because we need to first understand what are specific language and the regional dialects that is there before actually building something onto that use case or that audience. So computer assisted coding, so that is again, you can see the NLP becomes heavily useful, like things like Visual Studio now helps to support type part of the code for you without actually like specifying. Even in Google, in the Gmail, when you type the part of the code, it will automatically show in the email chat, email inbox, it will show the rest of the code. So that is using a deep learning model. We can use the text-based training to predict what is the next set of keywords that you are going to type in your email. So likewise, computer-assisted text-based kind of tools are there. Now, Microsoft also integrated a lot of this into their ecosystem, Visual Studio, Office packages, things like that. So it can predict what is the next set of words that you are going to type. Even in your mobile phones, you get that features. So that is also part of this. Then data mining in the healthcare side and the healthcare research is one of the use cases. When you want to analyze further, let's say you have thousands of research papers, thousands of documents you want to analyze, and you need to get analytics. You need to get some keywords and some possible findings. So normally, without NLP or without any machine learning capabilities, it's just a manual work, reading thousands of pages and a lot of manual work. But now we have these tools to automate, and we can read all these documents and thousands of pages in a document much more easily, and we can summarize it. There are some functions in these frameworks that, let's say, we have 1,000 page. The 1,000 page you need to summarize into 1 page. So we can do that. So the algorithm will, this framework and the specific functions will create that. But let's say a person doing that, it takes a lot of time. First, you need to read 1,000 pages, understand 1,000 pages, then only you can create a summary of into 1 page. But within a couple of minutes or seconds, these algorithms can do that. So it can read thousands of pages and summarize into 1 page or 1 paragraph, even 1 sentence. So that's a really helpful kind of features that we can use in the natural language processing space. So automated reporting. So like you can see, a lot of reporting analytics side of things also we can use, where the reporting side again helpful for a lot of data analytics and BI side. So we can again analyze these documents, these research papers, or even websites, web pages, and then we can generate a report. based on that. So we don't need to provide the data, we just give the source, what we need to analyze, and based on that, we can generate a reporting, what kind of a report that you need to have. So we can create a summary report on the keywords or some of the things that mentioned in those documents. So the document can be really vast. Those can be have thousands of pages, but we can again generate a report from that using NLP, because NLP providing a lot of visualization. The frameworks are providing a lot of visualization tools where we can visualize and we can see the charts. So the charts will be giving summary, like I say, what is the core meaning of this part, what is the core values of these areas in the document. That is, we can get using NLP technology. And there are another use cases like in HR, we can use for analyzing a CV, and we can get potential candidate whether they are ready to work on a specific job. So what kind of criteria, because you know some companies receive thousands of CVs, so it's really hard to automate, like manually do verify 1,000 CVs and then get into 5 interviews or 20 interviews. So that's why we can use the tools like this to the fine tune, and we can finalize what are the number of CVs that we need using the NLP technology. So that's why there are a lot of use cases in a lot of areas in the language understanding and document related functionalities that we can use. So there are tools built in the Python, so you don't need to create everything from scratch when you are creating this. So you don't need to build everything from scratch. You can use the existing tools that is out there. So main tool is the Python Anaconda environment, and in that we can use the software tools like Jupyter Notebooks or Spider software. So in that, then we have a couple of frameworks. There's a language frameworks are there, language understanding frameworks are there. We can set up deep learning frameworks, things like that. Even frameworks like TensorFlow providing some capabilities. So likewise, there are a lot of frameworks are there. So you don't need to invent the framework. The framework is already there. So you need to know how to use these specific frameworks for your use cases. There are a lot of other sub frameworks also there. So we need to identify what is the requirement that we need to build. Based on that, we need to finalize and build. So Python is one of the main software. So in the data science machine learning space, you know, Python is the main language, and the Spider and the Anaconda environment is the main set of tools. So within that, we can define some frameworks that is there. Then we can install these frameworks, and then we can use the capabilities provided in the framework for our use. So some may use PyCharm software. PyCharm also really good, fully fledged IDE. So if you are working in like a solution environment, like you have a lot of components in projects like the language model, understanding model, and then another machine learning components, classifications, a lot of other things that you are building an entire solution. We can use a software like PyCharm. It's really helpful, and there are a lot of collaborative environments, things like version controls, the Git repositories putting into the project into that version controls, things like that is supporting with the PyCharm. So it's good if you are working in a large team. It's a really good software to use. Then we can use VS Code. VS Code also supporting these environments, and it's really lightweight software. But on top of the VS Code, you need to have all the dependencies like Python, Anaconda, and all the runtimes. Otherwise, it will not work. So VS Code also a really good software nowadays for any developers, front-end, back-end developers, full-stack developers. We are using VS Code software as well. So Anaconda, as I mentioned, is a main tool set that we can use in this development. So using Anaconda environment, we can build all these applications, and then we can configure and we can use it. So we look at some of the NLP techniques that is out there. So these are some of the techniques that provided by some of the frameworks. So one technique is the tokenization. So tokenization, you can see breaking down text into smaller units. So it's like creating keywords, right? Separating each of the key phrases in the word using tokenization process. So let's say you have a large text, then using tokenization, you can extract this and getting into a small unit of text. So that is called the tokenization process. So using that, you can get keywords, so specific words, because if you look at a sentence in a language, so there are a lot of unwanted words like this, are, like all these things, but then there are important words. So if you want to use NLP for some analytics or more intelligent like machine learning and all these processes, then we need to extract these words. Because for example, if you use this or all these common words, it's not giving a many meaning when you are doing analytics. So we need to extract these keywords in the text. It could be user type text or it could be in a book, likewise, doesn't matter. So this specific technique will isolate these keywords or tokens, and then it will show that those keywords in the text. Stop word removal. So that is also a key thing where stop words, like as I mentioned, this, the, are, all these things are stop words. So it's like more like, you know, in a machine learning process, you know, we have a data cleaning where we clean unwanted data. We clean data that is not needed. So likewise, stop word removal will help to remove this unwanted data from your data set. So that is also a technique where if you look at one sentence, we might have 3-4 words. If you look at thousands of pages document, we have many thousands of words. That is stop words. So we don't need those. We need to remove, and then we can isolate the important words, because we need to know those keywords and the key meanings to set up the proper NLP techniques, right? So let's look at the demo on this. So for main frameworks for use is the NLTK framework. I think some of you maybe use the NLTK framework. So the NLTK framework installation is quite different than a normal installation. The standard installation is the Python PIP installation. So using Python PIP, we can install the NLTK framework. But NLTK is actually a collection of a lot of sub frameworks. If you look at the total NLTK framework, there are a lot of hundreds of sub frameworks are there. There are language understanding model, dictionary model, like there are a lot of like close to hundreds of sub frameworks are there in the NLTK. So if you, I recommend to install everything together. When you are using NLTK, I recommend to install everything together, because if you use just the PIP install NLTK method, that will only install the NLTK, core NLTK, but the NLTK comprise of a lot of other sub frameworks. So that's really important to install. So I'll show a demo, right? So in this, you can see, so I can go to the environment, and then I can install the NLTK from here. So that is the standard installation. So I can say PIP install, right, user, right, NLTK. So this will install, right, NLTK. So this will install the standard base frameworks, but it doesn't contain the complete set, right? This doesn't complete the complete set because the total NLTK containing hundreds of sub packages, right? So here you can see you can use this method to install the full NLTK framework. So what you can do is you can say import NLTK, and then you can say NLTK.download, right? So if you say NLTK.download, right, NLTK.download, what you will get is you will get the complete package set, right? So let me run this, right? So NLTK.download. So you will get the right. You will get the complete the set of framework, right? So you can see here, you will get this tool, right? This tool is we are calling the NLTK downloader. So here you can see there are a lot of sub packages are there, right? So you can see there are a lot of models are there. So here you can see here the models and all the packages. See, so there are, I mentioned, like close to hundreds of packages like WordNet package stop word, right? A movie reviews data set, right? So there are a lot of packages are there. So with this tool, it will install everything, right? So it's better to install the core package, and then you can install the entire thing using this. So it's a kind of a download helper tool called NLTK downloader. So using this, so you can just select all and you can download everything. So I have already installed, that's why everything is green. But when you're doing for the first time, it will be red or white color. Then you can select all these packages and click download. Then it will download, because you can see there are a lot of sub packages that we can use. Sometimes you might not use all these things, but remember these are not very huge packages. These are just 2 kilobytes, but some are depend on other sub-dependency packages. So that's why it's really good that you will install everything. Its total package size is also not really big, I think around close to 300 MB. So you can install everything, then you can get a full set of features. Otherwise, if there's any not availability on some features, then you need to again come to this and download the specific package. But with this, you can see I can directly install it and I can directly use it in my application much more effectively. You can see I can use it, right? Any questions up to here you can ask, right? If you have any questions, you can ask. Yeah. Just increase the font size. Okay. So using this, you can install all the packages as I mentioned. So I recommend to install everything. So now I will try to build something first. So first we'll try the tokenized one. So just remember you need to run this once, because every time you run this, you will get this. So we don't need this every time. It's only the first time we need just to install packages. After that, we can comment this out like this. We don't need this once you install the packages. So we will use our first exercise. So we can use the NLTK dot course package, right? So using this package, we will get some data sets. So this is containing some like a data sets package. So you can see there are a lot of packages are available, right? So this one you can see we can import movie reviews. So this can be used to identify this movie reviews data set. Then I can use print command, and then I can use movie reviews that I imported, right? Dot words like this. Then I can get the wordings on that movie reviews dot words like this. So these are standard words that's available in this one. Then the second one, we look at the word tokenization. So in the word tokenization, I mentioned we can get the keywords, right? So we can get the keywords of a text using the word tokenization. So for that, I need to get this sub package. So I need to get the NLTK, right? NLTK dot tokenize. So tokenize, then in that I can get the tokenized package, right? Right, so in this I can import word tokenize, right, like this. Then I can give some data, the text. So this can be you can use like a PDF module to import from a PDF document that is a book, or like the internet web pages, all these things. You can get the text, because NLTK is all about text. So we need to have the text in specific languages. By default is English, and we can get other supported languages as well. All the main languages we can get all these features, but other languages we need to get another kind of a methodologies to identify and detect these language and capabilities, right? Right, so like this, I can get some data. Then I can use the tokenize test function. So using this function, I can pass, right? I can pass the data. So I can use the word tokenize, and I can pass the data to this, right? Then I can print the result with the tokenized text. It's simple as that. So you can see just one line. We have defined the data. Then our tokenize, getting the data and getting the tokenized text. Using this, you can see I can print the tokenized test, right? So I can get the tokenized test. So with this, you can see I can get the keywords. So I'm getting now two outputs. I will comment this. So here you can see I want to be a likewise is getting the token keywords, right? So we didn't use the stop word for this one. So that's why there's no stop word function. It's just the keywords that's tracking into like this, right? So you can see here, and also you can see here in here what are the data in the variable explorer in the spider. So you can see the tokenized test like this in here. In the is returning as a list type in the Python list, and you can get it like this, right? So likewise, we can combine this with the stop words. Then we will get directly the stop word with the removal of the stop words. And there are other like a WordNet kind of a feature where we can extract the specific keywords and we can get the sentiment, right? We can get do a lot of things by analyzing this data, right? So we can use the stop word to remove these specific things if you are using the stop word feature. So let's try to look at how we can use the stop word feature. Right. If you have any questions, you can ask in the chat. We can unmute and ask as well. So here we can use NLTK, right? NLTK dot ops and import stop word. So this will help with the stop word. Right. Then we already have the word tokenized. Then we can set some the language. What is the language you need to detect to go the stop words, because you know all these keywords are different from language to language. So we can use this specific language detection to get the word tokenized. So here I will use that. So I can define to be removed stop words is a English language. So we are using the English language, and there are specific language frameworks. And then I can define the parameter that I need, right? So here the stop word English, then I can define the parameter here. Then based on that, now I can use the parameter and also I can use the word tokenize to be removed and get the modified token list, right? So I can get the tokenized paragraph, not in words, to be removed, and I can get the modified list as well. So you can check the difference. So first we will use the like this, the tokenized version first, right? Tokenized, then word tokenized, right? Then I will pass the para just like earlier. Then from this, I can now filter it out. The words are not the stop words with the stop word. So I can use the modify as a modify list, right? Modify list. Then I can run in a loop, right? Word for word in tokenize in a tokenize. So I'm using that. So I'm analyzing all the things that coming from that tokenize. Then if not word in to be removed, right? So then we can use to be removed is that one, the variable we created. So stop words, right? That is created here. Then we can print out and get the modified list. So here you can see we can print and we can get the modified list. So here we can say we can get the modified token list, right? Modified list like so. Here we have defined the stop words, that means any common words we need to remove, and then we need to get the modified list from that. So here you can see now there's no common words. It's all coming directly as the keywords. Is remove the stop words from English, right? So it supports other standard languages that we can use. So based on that, it will be removing these specific words, and then we can use them, right? So we'll be using the stop words to be removed, and then we can directly use that and we can click the modify list. So you can combine this the tokenize with the stop words, and it will return the important set of keywords in the text, right? And also there are other sub set of functions to see what is the number of occurrence, and we can summarize, we can run a loop, right? So these frameworks, as you have seen, like there are hundreds of sub packages are there, right? So earlier I showed you that all the packages. So there are hundreds of sub packages are there that we can use and use these capabilities, right? So there are like dictionary also there. So from the dictionary, we can get the specific meaning of the language, right? So there are this WordNet, right? NLTK WordNet. So using that, we can get the specific the meaning, right? If you search NLTK WordNet, so using NLTK WordNet, we can get the relevant meaning, like specific meaning of a word, right? So you need to use the WordNet interface. So using that, we can get some language and some understanding about the keyword, right? So it's connecting through the database, and it's providing us some the meanings, right? How to use that, and so from that, like a specific dictionary, like that, because these are just text, right? There's no meaning in those texts for Python, right? So then we need to use a method like how to understand these each words, right? So that's why the WordNet kind of the frameworks are really helpful. So it will giving some meanings, some examples, and what is the usage of these kind of frameworks, right? So that's why it's really useful to understand this, right? So these are different things that we can use. And also I mentioned there's a text, the audio element of this, like we can get the input from the audio, and then we can combine the NLTK, and then we can process this out. And also there's a text to speech and speech to text, and that is also helpful. Then we can like update our conversation, like what kind of a text that we are going to create, and based on that we can provide the output. So there are a lot of the speech based frameworks are there. So there are a couple of frameworks for speech in the specific languages. Again, the base things are supporting the standard languages, English and main languages, and the language like Sinhala, there are still models are to be created in the speech, the speaking in a specific language version. And also we have certain parameters we can set up, like pitch, tone, volume, and also we can change the certain character, like the female character, male voice, like that. And there are some paid packages that going even more advanced, like for example, they are giving more realistic sound. Nowadays, this package is also providing realistic sound, but even more realistic sounds and things like that. There are some packages that providing these kind of capabilities, but some are paid features where we need to subscribe or get some kind of a package to get these kind of features. So those are some advanced kind of features that we can use. So in terms of working with the audio and voice technology, this is a one framework we can use. So we can use this PyTTSX3 package. So we can install this package like this. So you can go to the terminal, and I can say pip install, right, PyTTSX3 like this. So this will install this specific package, right? So I have already installed it. That's why I get the requirement already satisfied. So this package helpful to work with a lot of audio-based services. So there are a lot of capabilities that we can build using this specific package. It's called PyTTSX3. So using this package, we can get a lot of voice-based capabilities. So once you filter it out using NLTK, we can get a lot of voice-based capabilities using this. So let's say import PyTTSX3. Then we can initialize this engine PyTTSX3.init, right? So with the init method, then once you initialize, we can give a specific kind of a text to speak at, and it is going to speak on this specific language. You can see these capabilities are there in Google Echo and Google Amazon Echo and Google Voice Assistant. So we are specified to talk in a specific language, and then based on the customization, we can talk and we can customize based on that. So here you can see engine dot say. So here, this is the minimum set of code, but there are more options that we can provide. So here we can provide some text to speech. So my first code on. Right, so like this, we can give some text to speech like that. We can give a couple of phrases, and we can even build up like conversations, things like that. Right. Right. Thank you. Then we need to initiate this. So to initiate this, we can say engine dot run and wait. Run and wait like this. So then let's run this. So I'll comment this also. So I have shared the sound in the Zoom, so we can hear the audio as well, I think.
My first code on text to speech.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. So you can see how the conversation works.
My first code on text to speech. Thank you.
Right. So like that, you can see how simple is that. Just 1-2 lines, you get the voice enable text kind of a text to speech. So it's really simple to implement like this. So you can do a lot of things based on this, the voice-based kind of conversations you can set up, the NLTK analysis. So the language also a key part of that because the specific set of languages, how the dialect and the pronounce, all these things we need to keep in the consideration when you are building applications on top of this, right? Any questions so far you are having, you can ask. Yeah. Right. So the NLTK is a one main framework that we can use. So you can go to the official website, which is the nltk.org. So let me show that some of the features. So using this site, you can see this is the official site of the NLTK, and it's an open source package. So anyone can collaborate and we can use, right? So there are a lot of capabilities in that. So you can see identify name identification. So this is identified as a specific noun, or like that, the identification. This is then setting up a clear structure, the follow through like that. Then different, you can go to the official documentation and you can see some of the usage on the different set of language frameworks, right? So this is one of the main kind of a framework. So you can directly go to the installing, and you can see how you can install in Mac Unix environment or Windows environment. But as I mentioned, remember you need to do the complete installation. I mentioned earlier, without that it might not work. So you need to do the complete installation to install everything, right? So that is another key feature that you can set up in that. So let me also share this URL with you, so you can take a look at it. Right. So I will go through what we have did so far. So here we look at how we can use the NLTK and download the specific package. So here you can use in this, you can get this entire package set like this. So here you can see all packages, and there are a lot of packages there in the NLTK framework. So you can use all these packages in the application when you are developing the application. Otherwise, what happens is sometimes to run these things, it might not work. So I recommend to install this in everything. Then only you get all the sub packages installed, because
My first code on text to speech.
Because some packages have dependencies, things like that, right? Then we look at the word tokenize. So word tokenize feature is using for the keywords. So it will extracting the specific keywords, and it will get those key terms extracted from that. Then the stop word, that feature helpful to remove the common words is all these things. Let's say we are analyzing 1000-page document, then we can remove all these things, and then based on that, we can build a completely working model directly using this, right? So here a loop that going through that, it analyze and do that. So then there are other examples, like we can analyze the entire document, and then we can summarize to one page like that. We can summarize to one sentence, one paragraph like that. Then there's another component, is the voice component. There we can have the voice analysis as well, the voice speech to text and text to speech. So in that we use the TXT3, right? PYTTXS3, right? So in that you can see in that framework we can use for speech the talking, that means text to speech. So this is the official Python package, PYTTXS3. So here you can see we can set the rate, volume, voice. We can say change the pitch of that. We can change the rate of that. So the full documentation available at the official site in that. So you can see the complete documentation and what are the use cases in that. So there are some examples also you can look at. Speaking text, saving to a local file. So you can save as MP3 file, listening and that changing voices. So we can change some voices from that, changing speech rate, volume, right? That. So likewise, there are a lot of capabilities that we can add. You can refer the official documentation. I will share this URL as well. So where you can take a look at it, and it will be helpful when you're building application. So there are a lot of research also going in this field in terms of building more capabilities in the language understanding, because even Google is doing this in the language space. That's where their language translation, language identification, and all this works with the research capabilities, where we use some of this in our applications. So where we can build a lot of interesting use cases and applications using the NLP technology, and there are a lot of projects and research ongoing in this field. So you can use these resources and to build on this kind of a tool set. There are a lot of the packages and tool sets are available to get these capabilities and get the understanding of the language, and we can build solutions on top of this using these capabilities. Any questions so far? You can ask, right? You have any questions? Yeah, there's a question, can we build a mobile application using this? So mobile application is, if you want to connect to a mobile, there's a two-way, because you can see this is running in mostly like a web or desktop environment. So the mobile reside in a completely different location, Android and iOS. So there's two methods that we can connect. Like one is we build the application from this and create API, then API is consumed to the mobile. Or second way is there are some mobile based language understanding, especially in the TensorFlow and those frameworks, right? So then we need to use those frameworks. Then we cannot use this NLTK, but there are frameworks for language understanding and the text analytics that's running in the Android or iOS native one. So we need to use those things, right? Let me share example. So there are some frameworks that especially we have MLKit. So MLKit have a language understanding feature, right? So you can see this one, this is, you can see NLP with the identification and smart reply like this. So if you use this kit that is provided officially by the provider like Android, Google, or there are built-in that's running in the device, then we can directly use that, and then you can build. Then it's like using the function. But let's say if you want to use directly this capability, then this is not available in the mobile. So then we need to create like API. Then that API can consume into the mobile application. That is how we can work on that. Those are two different things. It's again depend on the feature set that you want to build. If this is a basic feature set, you can use the mobile capability. Otherwise, you need to use the capability. Any other questions that you are having? We are coming toward the end of the session. If you have any other questions, you can forward. Right, so we look at some of the NLP techniques, tokenization, stop word removal. These are some of the techniques that we discuss, and the main tool is NLTK, and you can use Jupyter Notebook or Spider software, even the PyCharm. Yeah, so there's another question for the iOS same. So the iOS also the same. So iOS also have MLKit. Then in that you can use the same thing. Yeah. Using iOS machine learning kit. Then also TensorFlow also providing some machine learning capability. Yes, ML kit. Yeah. Sure. right? So MLKit runs on iOS as well. Even Google MLKit runs in iOS as well. So you can import it because they have created in a way that it can support like this Google MLKit, right? MLKit in iOS. You can see it's running in Swift or Break2C. You can use it like that. But only thing is there are certain limitations because of the device limitation. That's where this core frameworks comes in, where you need to use directly the features that is provided by that, and then to create API to consume that, right? Any questions? So in the demo, I mentioned the practical session, how you can install the software, then how we can create a small kind of examples on the language identification, tokenization, stop word detection. So we are planning to have more sessions like this in the meetup group. And if you have also any questions and any concerns, you can ask the meetup group, and you can share your thoughts as well. So this final few minutes we can spend on the Q&A. Any more question and answers I would like to happy to answer. And this session also recorded, so we'll be sharing a recording of this session also with all the members as well. So you can have a look at it, and also you can go through the practicals, and you can try this out as well. Any more questions, of course, you can ask. You can unmute yourself, you can ask a question, or you can put in the chat box. So we'll have another 1 to 2 minutes. If you have any more questions in natural language processing overall, you can ask. So we did the machine learning session actually a few months back. Blockchain session also we did a few months back. We'll planning to do another one soon. We did a few knowledge sharing sessions a few months back. So you can check in our LinkedIn one. You can check in our LinkedIn account. In those things, you can go to Blue Chip Training in the YouTube, and you can find those sessions. I will also share these sessions as well. Any other questions?
Hi, I'm actually trying to, I'm a project manager, actually trying to make a career switch to data science. Do you have any advice in particular? Because I work with software developers and mostly web developers and also some mobile application development. So these are the projects that I manage. So are there any transferable skills that I can use when I am making this career switch? I'm actually learning free courses from YouTube and other Coursera and everything. So any advice in particular?
So one area is the web development side you can use because the data science also the final output comes to the web, and there's certain different frameworks like Flask framework. But other than that, we need to learn these other skills you mentioned you're following some courses, so you need to get some certifications like official certifications like Microsoft certifications or some other certifications like short certifications. That's also helpful. And you can also start working on some projects, small projects on your own. So that help to also build up a profile. You can showcase in a GitHub profile in your CV. So those are also helpful, but these are helpful to build up the project. So then because you might not have experience to get work on a real project, so that's why you can create some projects on your own and try to implement those in a small manner or like a different scale. And you can put those in the GitHub as well. So that's everything will match. So you can have certifications, and then you can build some like projects, and you can put that in the GitHub profile. And web development, some skills can be useful because there's a web component also in machine learning. That means the output we need to connect with the web or API platform. That will be useful. And also the output of projects also need to connect with the mobile. So mobile not much directly connected, but web is more connected. That the current skills and the project management skills helpful overall to how to execute the project and the work task and all this. So everything actually you need to go through the specifically like start to finish how to work on the small project, and then you can work on multiple projects, not a large scale, maybe on your own. You can try a couple of projects and then put into GitHub as well. Then that will help to build a profile of your asset.
Thanks. Any recommended certifications that you know of that I can start with?
Yeah, so one is the Microsoft certification. So Microsoft have the AI certifications and data science certifications you can go through. Yeah, that is official certification certified by Microsoft itself.
Right. Thank you.
And another advantage is you can do this now online as well. So you don't need to go to the test center. You can do it. The only thing is you need to prepare for the exam. So prepare, you can do this online at your home, and you will get the certification from Microsoft as well.
It's available in their site itself, no? Microsoft?
Yeah, you can go to the Microsoft exam. Let me share it. Microsoft exam website, certification website. This one. So yeah, so in that you can find the certifications that related to the data. So in that also there's a different, like data engineer is there, data analyst there. So AI is the data science side. So where you can look at the section. So here the fundamental one is there. Then DP100 is there. So this is a fundamental one. This is bit advanced one, DP100, design implementing a data science solution on Azure. So here you can find the exam fee. Like this, and then you can schedule exam, and you can do it like in your home as well. You don't need to go to the exam center to do the exam, but you need to prepare according to according to the exam guidelines and what they are looking at, because they are not going to look at everything, only the specific things. They are going to look at some Microsoft things as well, because it's Microsoft certification, but they are going to look at that and the general things as well.
Right. Thanks a lot. That was really helpful.
Okay, welcome. So there's a question: what are the web technologies? When can use this? So like I think your question is related to this one, right? So in that we can use the web technologies like in machine learning. We can use the web technologies like Flask is a one main technology that we can use. I think that's the question, because we cannot use ASP.NET or PHP or likewise. There are specific set of frameworks in Python like Django and Flask that we need to use in this. Any other questions before we wrap up? So if you're also having any questions, you can send email to our email address, and this session also recorded. So you can take a look at the practicals, and you can try to do these things as well. So I have to see you soon again also with another session like this. You can also check our YouTube channels where we have shared some of the sessions and the Blue Chip Training YouTube channel. So any other questions before we wrap up?
Will there be any data science or data analytics related sessions?
Yeah, so we are planning to have more sessions like this. This one is specific component in the data science, like language understanding, natural language, but we are looking to have more sessions like this in the coming months as well. You can take our the meetup group. I think you joined from that, so you can check that as well. So the recording of this will be shared in the meetup. The previous recording of our sessions, because we did some like physical the kind of workshops as well. We are planning to do some as well, but online sessions you can find in our YouTube channel. You can in the YouTube you can search Blue Chip Training, and you can find there as well. Okay, then thank you all for joining on Sunday from the weekend. For this session. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Looking forward to have more sessions like this. Stay tuned. Thank you. You can also contact us from this email address. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.